Hello, my love. Welcome to another episode of the podcast or the YouTube. If you are watching this on video, I am so happy to have you here. It feels really good to be back to recording. If you maybe haven't noticed, I have taken a little bit of a break from really just my business in general for the past 2 weeks. I had a little minor surgery a couple weeks ago and I've had a lot of changes dropping into my life recently. So I've been just really savoring those moments. And I'm really happy to be back here today, sharing with you again and connecting with you deeper. So, what came through for me today to chat with you guys about is a sweet, very important message about pivoting and specifically how to lean into decision making process as a woman because we're given so many tools just as feminine beings within our bodies of intuition. And a lot of the time in our current world, we are actually told to outsource our intuition. We are told to think, we're told to live in our heads. And most of us have jobs that require us to be in our head all day long. And so naturally, we just want to make decisions from our brain by overthinking, ruminating, things like that. And the first thing I can say on this, if you are in a transition in your life, if you're going through changes, if you're trying to make a really difficult decision, the worst thing you can do is overthink it. The worst thing you can do is live in your brain. And really, the best relationship we can create with this is one of grace to realize that it is really natural because, like I said, as women on this planet today, we are mostly operating from our brain in order to sustain the job success that we want to have in our lives. And there's certainly a time and a place, but when it comes to decision making, it's really important and impactful to utilize the wisdom of our feminine body and our intuition in order to make aligned decisions that really will get us to where we desire to go. So, for those of you that don't know, and those of you that have been in this space for a while and maybe are wondering what's been going on in my life, a lot of you guys have noticed that my relationship status has changed. I actually exited an almost 5 year relationship and an engagement probably about 6 months now. So last fall, it was a very big decision and one that was really challenging, but 100% correct for me and my life. And there's been so many iterations of myself that I've been letting go of over the past almost 6 months. And for those of you that own your own businesses, are running your own businesses, you can probably relate to this. Our relationships, our romantic relationships, our relationship with money, finances, our businesses are all mirrors of ourselves, our self worth, and what we are willing to settle for and accept as our reality. So, by letting go of so much in my life the past 6 months, I've stepped into a new iteration of self, even with my own business. And so during the past couple weeks, I wasn't really planning on this happening, but I feel like this idea and this like change has been incubating within me. And I'm really being called forward to shift within my business. So I'm really excited to take you guys along the journey. A lot of the changes that I'll be making in this space is probably not unprecedented for any of you, especially those of you that have been in this community for a while and have seen and witnessed my changing and my evolution as a human being. But the importance of this message for you today is I want you to consider where in your life are you holding on to past iterations of self? So this could be in a lot of different arenas, right? This could literally be on your bookshelf. Like if you're having holding on to books that were versions of your past self, things that you're really not interested in anymore, but maybe you used to at a certain point and it just doesn't really resonate with your future self energy and your current self energy and it's all past. Where can you learn to let go of those things? Maybe that's your closet, your car, like certain aspects of your life that you're like, yeah, like that's still there because it was a part of this memory, but it's not where I want to be going for the future. How can you learn to let go of those things? And for me, like I said, there's been so many things that I've been letting go of recently, but it's also translating into my business. So if we want to be in a certain place in our life, a lot of the times we can be pushing that outcome actually further away from ourselves because we're holding on to something that was past iteration self, something that has not continued to grow with you. It's something that you have actually outgrown and something that's energy is not in alignment with where you want to be going. Your success as a business owner will truly be defined by what you're willing to say no to. And I know that this is a really triggering statement, especially for so many women that I work with that struggle with saying no, struggle with boundaries, identify as being people pleasers, as wanting to make everyone happy. In letting go of that which is not serving you and that which is not in alignment with your future self energy, you will amplify your purpose and triple speed your desires and everything that you're working towards, everything that you're trying to call in into your life. So if you are someone who's listening to this podcast and you are, like I said, in the middle of this transition, some things that I want to take you through as far as steps go, because we can look at other people and be like, okay, she made this powerful decision. Like, how can I make a decision like this? Or if you're feeling wishy washy in a certain part of your life, how do you know what to do? I remember being in this exact stage about 6 months ago with multiple things in my life. How do you know when it's time to let go? How do you know when it's time to shift in your business? How do you know when it's time to pivot? And how can you make this decision from an aligned place rather than from a place of scarcity? The first thing and the most important thing is being really tuned in, dropped in, and turned on to your body, listening to exactly what its desires are. So, the thing that's going to require of you is to not do more, but to be more. And I know that that sounds very nuanced and annoying because it's like, what does that even mean? But essentially, what I want you to do here is make intentional time throughout the day to shift into your body, to live inside of your body. Obviously, this is a huge part of my practice as a hormone coach is helping women to connect with their bodies, especially really high achieving, perfectionistic, like type A women who are just so successful living from their heads. But the reality is when you're making these big life decisions, when you are looking for your next creative output for your business, when you're looking to scale, when you're looking to make a decision for your romantic life, when you're looking to find your man, you need to be tuned into your body because that's where the wisdom of truth really, really lives. And we can utilize this superpower within ourselves as feminine beings if we choose to. It's just in our current world, it has to be an intentional practice. It has to be something that we wake up every day and we make a devotional practice because otherwise, with our 8 to 5s as lawyers, as CEOs, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as creatives, we're going to literally just be existing in our heads from which we cannot make this aligned decision and from which we are actually blocked from our intuition. So, some simple ways that you can really get tuned into your body today as you're listening to this, especially for those of you that are navigating transitions, which are truly just a part of life. So, if you're not in a transition right now, hey, we'll be there in a couple of weeks, right? The first recommendation is to just exist without your phone, without music, without a podcast. And honestly, I feel like this is very triggering for a lot of my clients that I work with. So, normally, kind of the trajectory of how I work with women on this concept is I want you to just be alone for a little while. So, I would say step one, if you were like, so this is so foreign to me, is just taking a bath and literally not playing music, not having a podcast, leaving your phone in the other room, like dim the lights, like create a vibe, but be alone with your thoughts and with your body and sink into your body. So deep breaths through your belly. And normally when you're in the bath, honestly, you already are connected to your body because that warm water is just like wrapped around you and holding you. So it makes you just very aware of your body floating within space. Another simple like gateway drug for this is going on a walk without your phone. It can be very helpful to process this way because you're having the bilateral movement of your walking, which does really help your mind to unpack any stress that's going on within your life, which brings you kind of into this Zen state where you can be more connected with your body. But again, really just creating that consciousness is going to take you even deeper. So those deep belly breaths, really connecting with your womb space, maybe closing your eyes and trying to actually connect with your low abdomen. A lot of women that I work with, they feel so in their heads all day that they can't even really feel their feet on the ground or feel the sensation of their pants on their legs. They just feel like actual floating head. The second part of this feminine decision-making process when you're navigating these transitions in life is that you're looking for the knowing that doesn't actually have to make any sense. What I mean by that is something that you're probably going to relate to when I describe this more. Probably makes zero sense right now, but it's when I talk to women and they're like, yeah, I just know this. I don't know why I know, but I just know. That's what I mean. That's the actual feeling. That's the actual moment of feminine intuition. And that's what it feels like. It feels like you can somatically feel it within your body, but you can't really rationalize, like, why do I feel that way? Or what's the story here? That's when you really know that you have that gem that you're looking for. And that's what you have to run with. When you have that feeling in your body of, oh, I just 100% know this, and I have zero clue why, that is your truth. And that is your feminine medicine. And that is really your intuition at work. We need to take rationalization off the table and really switch into pleasure and connectedness to the body in order to make aligned decisions as women. So I talk to women all the time that are like, I'm meditating, I'm going to yoga, I'm working out and going to Pilates, and I'm doing my business and I'm creating this incredible revenue within my business and I'm so creative and all these things. And I'll ask her, okay, what are you doing for pleasure? What are you doing for pleasure? And she will be like, what? What are you talking about? What does that even mean? And I want you to consider pleasure as being the thing that you do for your soul, the thing that you do to connect with your intuition, just as important, if not more important than taking care of your body by going to the gym or meditating in order to take care of your mental health. I want you to think about pleasure and non-outcome related activities, which I'll break down here in a second more specifically, as being the medicine that you need to make sure that you're connected with your intuition consistently. Because just like any other muscle in the body, it needs to be frequently exercised, which is why if you're listening to this episode and you have not been doing these things, you are going to be like, major ick. That sounds awful. There's no way that I'm just gonna like starfish on the ground and like not think about anything, right? So I know I gave you a couple ideas already: taking a bath without your phone, going on a walk without your phone, really just having non-outcome related activities. So I've recommended clients to get like a coloring book and literally just sit there and color and like maybe listen to some classical music, but nothing with words. Like you really just want to think about kind of emptying your vessel and being with your body. So noticing your thoughts maybe passing like clouds, but not holding on to them and not holding on to a story, really letting go and dropping down. Dance can also be really helpful. So taking a dance class, maybe doing a dance class on YouTube, something like that, getting really like slow, sensual, connected to your body. I would say oil massaging. So when you get out of the bath or out of the shower, just spending like an hour by yourself in front of a mirror, especially, would be very potent. Just doing a little body oil massage, really connecting with yourself, connecting with your body. Again, moving the energy from your head down to your body. So any kind of really intentional dissension that has no outcome is going to be your medicine. And I know it sounds crazy, but you're just going to have to trust me, because when my clients start doing these things in their life, things change overnight. And when you are in the middle of a decision-making process, this is really the devotional practice that I need you to be in, to make sure that you're making aligned decisions, not from this logical masculine state of your mind, but from your actual somatic body, in order to really get you where you want to be in life. Because like I said, your success will always be determined by what you are willing to say no to, what you are able to say no to. And that possibility of even being able to say no is going to be so far away from you if you're not dropped into the truth of your actual potential and your actual desires within this life and the assignment that God has for you. The other part that I want you to consider and take inventory of when making a decision in your life with transitions is, I want you to use discernment when it comes to gathering advice from other people. Because again, this is something that I feel like really does take women away from their center, away from what they know to be true. Is a lot of the times when we go to our friends or family and ask them what their opinion is, we already know what our opinion is and we already know what we want to do. We just either want to be affirmed of our decision, or we want someone to be like, no, that's not what you should do, because our brain is kind of logicalizing all the reasons why you shouldn't do that, right? All the reasons why it's going to be really difficult to leave that situation you're in, or all the reasons why it's a perceived path of high resistance. So if you're navigating a transition in your life and maybe you've already told a bunch of people about it, how can you spend some time in devotion to, if you have people in your life that are consistently asking you about the thing, maybe just letting them know, hey, I really appreciate you asking me about this, but I'm actually going to spend the next 2 weeks really making a decision on this topic on my own. And it would mean a lot to me if you would just give me a little bit more space, and I'll talk to you about it when I've made my decision. Very lovely, graceful way to have that conversation. Or even just not bringing it up for a while with people in your life and spending some time allowing these moments, these pivots in your life to be sacred times, because this is truly an altar in your life. Everything that you sacrifice on this altar, it's going to be painful. There's going to be a time for mourning and there's going to be a time of loss. But when we can get to the other side of this, that's when you really see a growth potential absolutely skyrocketing as a human being. And that's when you see all these past iterations of self that are crumbling away create and turn into this version of yourself that you've been desiring for so long. And oftentimes someone that you didn't even recognize would be possible for you. So many realities that God is dropping into your life and into your timeline that you never thought would be possible. And that's certainly what I've been experiencing. And I hope that if you are in the middle of a transition like this, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you on Instagram, on email. If you want to respond to this podcast in the question and answer section, I'd love to hear what you're navigating through, any questions that you have, and how I can really support you, because this is something that I've been through. I'll probably share more about it deeper at a later date in a later episode. But wherever you're at in your life, wherever you're at in your transition and your pivot, I want you to know that there is a plan on the other side. And if you are brave enough to burn down everything in your life that is not in alignment with who you want to be, there's another version of yourself waiting on the other side that is way beyond your wildest dreams and way beyond your wildest desires. And I want you to have the bravery in this moment to say no to the things that you know in your body, not in your head, not in your timeline, not in your narrative, but truly deep seated within your body, that are not meant for you. I hope you enjoyed today's short and sweet episode. I hope that this really serves you and transforms your life in so many of the ways it has transformed mine. I also do want to extend an invitation for you today. If you are ready to shift into your body somatically, really amplify your feminine energy and your polarity within within your relationship and heal your hormones so that you can really amplify your income and impact within your life while feeling glowy and incredible in your body. I'd love to have you inside of my Muse membership. This is my exclusive community. It's a 12-month membership where we have monthly master classes, Q&A calls, coaching calls, where you can come and be a part of a community of female entrepreneurs, of women who are navigating through healing their bodies and being at absolute maximum fertility potential and creative potential in order to create a life beyond their wildest dreams. I will include the link in the show notes to join, and I'm sending you guys so much love. I'll see you next week on the podcast.